Okay, so when you came back from that trip in 1985, how did that next era, let's say from 1985 to 1995, did that just stay dormant in you? Did it grow? How did it take manifestation in your life from that point forward?
Well, if I'm honest, and I'm trying to be, I probably try to put it out of my head.
Yeah.
I remember saying to Ali on the way back, we will never forget this. And I remember her looking to me and going, you know we will, because that's, to carry this with you is every day is it's too much. But we were both clear that at some point we would be called upon to revisit these questions that in truth were probably too big for our young minds. So around about, end of the middle of the 90s, about 98, I was ready to receive a phone call, which I did, from Jamie Drummond, who now runs Data. He explained to me that though Live Aid had raised $250 million or something like that, and it was for all our efforts, Africa was spending or returning in debt service payments to us in the West about $250 million a month. And I was completely confounded by this. I found it very difficult to accept. I said, they're paying us more than we're giving them. And so I started to study the economics of it. And I thought, this is nothing to do with charity. This is a justice issue. And I became involved in the Jubilee movement, which was a very important movement in the late 90s, the debt cancellation movement, based on a scriptural idea. Redemption. Redemption is an economic term. We forget this.
Sometime around that time, year 2000, is, from what I could tell, you shifted into a whole nother gear. It seemed like you had two full-time vocations. I mean, you were doing the rock music still, but every time I turned around, I saw you lobbying somebody. You were making trips all around the world trying to gain the attention of prime ministers and leaders to the plight of the poor in Africa.
And pastors.
And one night you showed up at Willow Creek Community Church, 10 o'clock at night on a bus, and you wanted to meet with my wife and me, and you came up to my office and you vision casted us. You were saying, how come you churches are not getting on board with the greatest social crisis of our day? So something had to have happened in you to grip you as much as you were gripped, to pay the price that you were paying to gain the attention of people for these causes.
It was like, what else are you going to do with this thing called celebrity? I mean, it's ridiculous. It positively upends God's order of things. Why is why would a film star or a movie, a rock star or a sports star, why would they be more important than a nurse or a fireman or a mother? I mean, it's actually ridiculous. But hey, it's currency. And I decided I was going to spend mine. People often say to me very kind things, about, you have a heart for the world's poor, or these kinds of things, like I'm Mother Teresa or something. I am not Mother Teresa. I'm a rock and roll star. I'm living the life, but I have a head for the world's poor. I'm strategic. And we as an organization, Data and the One Company, we're smart about this stuff. You have to be strategic. And I started to realize that, what was in the way of getting this stuff done. and that wishful thinking would not sort out the problem. I went to see a fellow in the Council on Foreign Relations, and he said, I've got a list. He had a sore throat of the day. He said, I've got a list of people who can stop this from happening. He said, it's a long list. He said, I hope you haven't a busy schedule. And I said, well, I have a busy schedule, but I'll meet them. You name them, I'll meet them. And a lot of these people did not want to meet me. So I would have to, I had to doorstep them. But I think, God has made me an opportunist as well as everything else. And I can sell a melody. I have the voice to sell a melody.